Good day, folks, and welcome back to the Great Futures Forge. I am your host, as always, Ameer Washington, and we're here at Boys and Girls Club of Newark. We will ask you to hit the subscribe button, give us a like for the algorithm, and make sure that these views keep on coming. We'd like to now turn it to a very special guest, and this is our first partner spotlight. So we work with a ton of great organizations, and we've been working with this group for a couple of years now in our STEM Center. And I'm going to let this wonderful, beautiful lady here introduce herself and tell you a little bit about her.
Hi everyone, my name is Manisha Roy. I'm the founder and leader of the Arman Roy Foundation. We are excited and thrilled to be meeting with you guys today and speaking about our foundation, and really grateful to be partners of the Boys and Girls Club of Newark.
Awesome, thank you. So I want to start with some of the fun stuff so we can just get the cobwebs out, get myself feeling comfortable, get you feeling comfortable.
Sounds good.
And it'll be quick. So the first thing that pops into your head, we don't like people thinking too deeply about any of this stuff. So absolute favorite food.
This Asian girl still loves a big bowl of spaghetti.
Really?
Yes, I can't have it that often, unfortunately, because the carbs kill me, but I die for a big bowl of spaghetti.
And thinking back to my memories being a kid, my sister, when she was like this big when she was young, because she jumped rope and everything, two and a half plates of spaghetti, just the machine.
Yeah.
Favorite movie?
So I love action, adventure, epics, anything where there's like the hero versus the villain. So to this day, my favorite movie is still Star Wars. It was the first movie I saw in a movie theater in 1977 when the first one came out, which is now 4, A New Hope.
Right.
But yeah, I've seen them all. Actually, I went to see the last one with Armon. It was a date with Armon, and we went to go see one of the Star Wars movies. But I love it. I
have a question. Are you like a diehard Star Wars fan, or you just like it?
No, I'm a diehard Star Wars fan. So yeah, don't quiz me on all of that because I also have a bad memory. I've seen them all like 10 times.
Wow. Okay. So are you like, do you get upset when things don't go the way you expect?
I think, of course. I mean, I think the theme is like good always wins over evil, and so at the end of the day, I'm very happy when movies end that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite TV show?
In that same vein of like just adventure and epic fantasies, I love Game of Thrones. Oh. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
Ever?
Yeah.
So
okay.
I have a secret. So I'm such a diehard Game of Thrones guy. So
I
used to live about an hour and a half away from here. And I drove and I would listen to like the best scenes from Game of Thrones, like Tyrion Lannister, while I'm driving to the club. So I'm that bad. I've probably seen every season except the last 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 times each. Like I've introduced many people to them. So
all right, we have that in common then. Yeah.
So here's this is now in the paper. What did you think about the last season?
I think along with everyone else, it wasn't my favorite. I expected so much more.
Yeah.
So my husband and I actually binged the first. We weren't along with the crowd, so we missed all of like the everyday, the cultural kind of, the cultural kind of whatever were out there. And when we finally sat down to watch it, we binged it in like 3 weeks. The entire set, I think it was 6 or 7 seasons.
Nice.
And we were dying for that one. Then we had to wait 2 years for the next one to come out.
And then they did that.
And then they did that, so we weren't super happy, but
not the worst experience in the world. It was still a good season, but I just think they should have taken 3 more episodes to really flesh everything out. Then I'm talking to you guys, DB. Favorite place to vacation?
I've actually had like I've been able to travel all over the world. Actually, I've been to like 20 different countries, and it's been like a blessing. I love traveling. I love experiencing different culture, and it's hard to say because every place I go gives me a little bit of a different, feeling and emotion and experience. But I love Hawaii. If I could go back somewhere of all the places I've been, it would probably be Hawaii. I went there on my honeymoon with Priya, almost 27 years ago, and it was an amazing experience because it has so much, the rainforests and like the volcanoes and just the beautiful beaches. And we finally got to go back last year. We took our daughter Rihanna back to Hawaii for Thanksgiving.
How did she like it?
She loved it. So yeah, it's just it's so far. It takes so long to get there. So after our honeymoon, we said we're going to go back next year. We'll go back in 5 years, and it took us 27 years, but we got back.
So I have a question about that because not every person, but some of the people I speak to say that you feel isolated because it's like so far away from everything. There's nothing there. Do you feel that or? What
in
was your
Hawaii.
experience? Yeah.
No, I didn't think so at all. I feel like we rented cars both times, and we went out and experienced so many different parts of
Real life
the islands.
vacation.
Even this time, Rihanna, Priya, and I rented a car and drove around the entire
Yeah.
Big Island, and it was amazing. There were just so many different spots and restaurants and bars. So it was, yeah,
That's awesome.
it
So,
felt great.
name a place that you would love to go that you've never been to.
Yeah, that's a hard one because I've been to so many places. But even though I said spaghetti's my favorite dish, I love Asian food and I love Asian culture. I mean, my family came from India. And the one place we've been talking about going, where we haven't gone, is Thailand. So I want to go experience Thailand. I also hear there's so much there.
I've heard that too.
Culture and food and the history and and then just the aspect of Buddhism. I love just
That's great. I love that. I used to meditate a lot.
spirituality.
A little younger, and in karate, I had a much better body and all that stuff. But the past is the past. So, favorite guilty pleasure when you want to have a snack?
A bag of chips. I love chips.
Chips. There's so many kinds.
I know. Any chips actually.
Really?
I love Doritos. Doritos are my
cheese or
favorite.
ranch?
Not a ranch now. It used to be nacho cheese, but now it's ranch. Actually, my favorite are the spicy, sweet and spicy. No, sweet chili.
Sweet chili. Yeah, those are really good.
My favorite ones.
I have far too many Doritos in my life.
Yeah.
I've had like everything.
But I'll eat anything that's a chip. Pringles and anything. Yeah, Lay's and
Have
kettle
you ever
chips.
got like that sick feeling from eating too many Pringles?
No, I haven't, because I think I could eat like 2. I'd be fine. My body's used to it.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Pepsi or Coca-Cola?
Coke. Coke Zero.
Coke Zero.
I've had to get healthier in my, as I,
Well, you look better than I do.
Oh, thank
You look great.
Thank you so much. That really is very sweet.
I'm working my way back into the gym. It's still far away from me, but someday soon. You can meet one person you've never met, dead or alive. Who would it be?
A lot of people.
Just one. You got to pick top.
Top, I probably like my all-time hero is Jane Goodall.
Mm-hmm.
I love her for so many reasons, but I feel like she's the most inspiring person I know. And I just, because of her quiet strength and she understands connection to everything. And so I'd love to meet her.
That's cool. So what was your dream job as a kid growing up?
I honestly, it was so long ago, I can't remember. I loved the arts, Amir.
Okay.
I did. I was always painting
Yeah.
and drawing, and I was always I was in a drama class, and I had a creative side that I don't think I tapped into because I think as also as an Asian growing up, you kind of it is STEM. It's like science or math or business. So I went into the business route, and I kind of tucked away that creative side. But I think I would have gone into art and design or architecture or something like that.
Interesting.
I would have loved it.
So
I think it's still my dream job.
really,
Yeah, totally.
there's never a better time than the present.
I agree. Yeah.
Never. And I don't know if I imagine you have seen the Black Panther,
Yes.
the first movie, and
Yes.
I don't know if you noticed her, but the older woman who was in one of the scenes, I think when Michael B. Jordan's character finally goes in front of the Black Panther, he's on his throne and everything, and he's meeting the family. The 90-year-old woman there, that was her first movie role.
Wow.
Ever. So it can always happen, and I
I
don't think you're
agree.
90 yet.
Yes. No. I have a little bit of a time to get into it.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I think it's in my future.
I think it should be.
Yeah.
Do you have a role model?
It would definitely be, for sure, my mom.
Yeah.
My mom was the most incredible woman ever. Unfortunately, I lost her at a young age. I was only 28, so old enough to know her and have her as a mom when you really need a mom, but way too young to experience all the things that I wanted to. But she was strong and a force of nature and super intelligent and just a caring, nurturing, loving mom, and made it all about us.
Yeah.
So yeah, a dream mom for me, just a hero and a role model. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, she was born in 1942, India, and was one of the first women to be educated in her family in India, and then went to college and then got a master's in physics. So very brilliant, and started teaching physics. Came here in the mid 60s.
Yeah.
and then ended up in a
that
computer.
Was a time to come.
It was a time, yeah, and then ended up in a computer science job. So she actually was doing, an Asian woman doing computer science in the 1960s and early 70s.
That's brilliant. Let's give a few snaps
Yeah,
for that. Oh my God.
exactly. So
I mean, especially thinking about now how everyone's so focused on girls in STEM.
yeah,
I mean, your mom did it.
she was a girl in STEM.
50-something years ago.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah, it's amazing.
Kudos to her. And I know what it's like losing a mom, so I can definitely, feel that pain that I'm sure you have and deal with every day, because it never goes away.
No, it doesn't.
So your husband, Priya, would say you are.
He would say I'm amazing.
I think he's better, right?
No, Priya would say that I basically lead with I lead with love, and I put everything into the things that matter and that I care about, which for me are my family and this foundation, and it was always a career and being a mom and a spouse, and once I set a goal, I really work. He would say I was a hard worker because I work really hard to achieve them. Sometimes I'm a little too relentless, he would say. And then
probably
I think
some personal pain.
I think I could be a little tough because I'm kind of I'm a force sometimes. But I think I'm more of a behind the scenes person. You would say I just I'm quiet. I'm more quiet and introverted, so I'm not flashy, and I don't kind of get out there, and I don't necessarily love that.
I don't know that I agree with that based on what I know.
People say that about me. I've learned to to kind of be more outgoing. When I was young, I was really, really shy, and I had to kind of take a lot of these Toastmasters and drama classes and public speaking classes just to be able to get in front of a crowd and say a few words. I was really, really shy. So I think I've kind of overcome that, but I'm a natural introvert, unlike Priya, who's a super extrovert. So, but I think that's what he'd say about me.
Okay.
And hopefully that I'm a great wife.
And Priya is?
Priya is probably the most positive person I've ever met. He's super positive, and we've both been through a lot of stuff in life. I shared I lost my mom, and I also lost my dad. We lost his father, and then we've just been through a lot of stuff in life. And he's one of those people that makes lemonade out of lemons, and it's great to be with someone like that because it's how you get through life. He is a person that instantly connects with people, and I think Arman got a lot of that from him. And he's loving, loyal, and generous. Maybe you could say to a fault, but I don't know if there is such a thing. And he sometimes he drives me a little crazy.
There it is.
he's a little all over.
He's got it on record for you, Priya.
Yeah, exactly. He knows. I'm the planner and get from point A to point B. He'll be I'm not going to plan anything. I'm going to go from point A to Z, but I'm going to take you on a ride.
I'm kind of like that in my
I'm going to take you on a ride.
I know my wife is everything has to be laid out.
I know.
Step by step from 8 a.m. until 12 a.m. And I'm let's just go and have a good time. She's like, did you look at the menu? I was no, I'm just going to pick it when I get there. Well, look, and she sends everything to me. It's insanity.
We're trying to meet in the middle somewhere. I mean, we're 26, 27 years into this marriage, and we're still, it's a work in progress. We're trying to meet in the middle. So this weekend, actually, because it's a beautiful weekend, Priya's let's go in the city on Saturday. I'm what are we going to do? And he's we'll just take the train in, and we'll just, let's
figure it out.
All right, I'm going to meet you here. Let's just be spontaneous. Yeah. And so we went in and we had the best time. So it is. Sometimes you have to go with the flow. It works out. It works out. Yeah.
My wife hates it. Our anniversary is this Thursday.
Oh,
so
happy
she's planned
anniversary.
Everything. Thank you.
Oh,
8 years for
everything.
us. We're chasing you down, and there's Bill Sullivan, who's a good friend of mine. His 35 years actually today.
Wow.
Yeah. So what a week. So if your closest friend or friends were to describe you, what would they say?
My friends would definitely say that I'm strong. I think they always, that's the number one adjective people used to describe me. And I think the reason people say that I'm strong is because of all of the things that I've been through in life. I don't let it get me down. I try to stay very positive and optimistic and find the best in life, and understand it's all part of our journey. Find the deeper meaning in it and don't let it get me down. Yeah. I don't cry, whether that's true or not. They don't see me cry. Maybe that's why they think I'm strong. I think the reason I am strong is totally I got it from my mom. My mom was like 10 times stronger than I could ever be. And I'm so happy and proud that I passed that down to Rihanna, my daughter, who's also incredibly strong. My friends would also say that I think I'm really down to earth. I'm like super grounded. I like being like that. So, you know, I just feel like I don't have like judgments or issues. My motto is always like live and let live. Yeah. So I approach everything like that in life. And I think that makes me a good friend. So hopefully they would say I'm a great friend too.
I would think so. That would be my assumption. So switching gears, the Armon Roy Foundation is named after your son.
Yeah.
And, you know, why did you choose to start that initiative, you know, when he passed? Why was it important to you to keep his memory alive in that way?
Yeah. You know, when we lost Armon, it was completely unexpected and very tragic. And when something like that happens to you, you really don't know what to do. You have so much pain and grief, and like there's just so much it's incredible loss that you have to find a way to just cling to every day. And as a mom, of course, I want to find a way to honor Armon and, you know, make his life count. And we were always going to do that, but when we lost Armon, it was like everyone wanted to find a way to make his life count and keep his life and his light shining. We didn't quite know what that meant. We knew we wanted to set up a charity. So the charity aspect came before the mission, which is kind of a little backwards, but it all kind of came together. And that's why we believe like there's always like this destined path sometimes where things happen and you end up somewhere where you would not expect it. But for us, Armon was like this beautiful soul, a beautiful spirit. Everything he was, and he continues to be, caring and loving and curious and super passionate and talented in technology and loved sharing his gifts, was something we felt that needed to continue. Everybody did. So it just happened. I mean, it was just literally all of our family and friends of friends just came together and helped us like forge this mission and keep Armon's life and light shining.
That's fantastic. So tell me, was his love of technology, and was that a natural inclination, or did somebody put that into his head? I don't know how that happened.
Yeah. Well, Priya and I are not tech people at all. He studied history. I did business, and we kind of grew up before. We didn't grow up with iPhones or any of that, right? So
what a time
we can't take credit for his love and his knack for tech, and he was very gifted. We think it's something to do with his grandfather. My dad lived with us for when Armon was born for about 4 years before he passed away, and my dad was an engineer and always ahead of his time, like with everything. And he had a computer, and he would have Armon and Rihanna, my daughter, on his lap, just like doing learning games, the Clifford learning games, math, reading. He was teaching them instruments and how instruments sounded. Anything that you could do on a computer, he would have Armon and Rihanna like watch and play and push buttons. And we think that really stuck with him, and he took that and ran with it. Yeah. And he went on to do so much with tech, even at a young age. So, yeah.
It's remarkable hearing, there's some young kids now who come and they visit and they share their talents. And it's remarkable that kids at such a young age can kind of find that technology, start to do things that you never thought possible, and they're tech entrepreneurs at 21 or 19 or whatever, even before they become adults. What do you imagine Armon would be doing right now, in 2025? Does he be an adult? He would
have actually turned 21 on March 24th. Yeah. And so, we think about that all the time, and it's heartbreaking that he's not here, especially turning 21. We were thinking that's like an age when he would be a junior in college, no doubt studying tech or computer science, and probably ready to graduate and change the world. Yeah. And I say that as a mom, like being proud of my son, but everybody says that. Anyone in the news said he was going to change the world, be the next, Bill Gates or someone like that. So I think he would have been ready to do that, share his gifts with the world to make a big difference. I mean, that started when he was young, and he knew about what communities were doing to bridge the divide, and he would share stories with us and have these tech talks with us. So I think that's what he'd be ready to do. And it's like really crazy he's not here, but you know, we had this STEM party for his birthday here at the Boys and Girls Club, and it was amazing that we could partner with you guys on this 2 years in a row. But this is where our volunteers come and they organize this amazing party, STEM party. It's supposed to be like a birthday party to honor Armon, but like to give that gift of technology and learning to kids that might not have that exposure and experience. So we had dozens of like workstations and contests and competitions, robotics and cybersecurity and coding and all of that. And they ate it up, and like the parents were so grateful. And we always have a picture of Armon, and they come up to us and tell us, "Oh, he's so handsome. It's amazing what you're doing," and it's really like a beautiful gift to be able to do that. So I know what Armon would have been doing. I feel like we're kind of we're carrying forward that vision. What he would have been doing. Yeah, we're carrying forward that vision and changing lives on his behalf. Yeah. That's awesome. So thank you for helping us with that. Oh
my God. No, thank you guys. I mean, it's incredible to think about, what your son would have been doing, and to see that and his, name and his memory living on in that way, helping others. Because when I read about him and I hear about him, he was so focused on people who were in need. And oftentimes, 15-year-olds, they're thinking about everything they can have, everything they can get. Where did that come from? You guys instilling that thought process into him, or was he kind of this natural, compassionate kind of person?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think as parents, we teach our kids to be compassionate and to have empathy. I think he might have learned some of that from us because we've always felt like our purpose and what we need to do is like help others. But I think that it was a gift given by God, like his level of empathy. I share that, like, I feel Armon was everyone's person. Like he was my person, but then like my husband was like, no, he was my person. And his best friends were like, no, he was my person, because he just had a way of like completely connecting with someone so deeply and profoundly. And like, I know moms connect with sons, but I have a daughter too, and I have nieces, nephews. The connection that we had was unbelievable. It was like almost like a soulmate. Soulmates come in all different, but I think like I felt like he was my soulmate, and so many people felt that because he had an ability to like connect with like spiritually with souls, and he really cared about people, and he was just in tune with feelings and emotions. And he just like, knew what everybody needed. And just a caring person. Like he would just get lost in a day helping someone with something. Just a day would go by, even if he had stuff to do. And
I mean, it's an incredible quality to have. I mean, like I think about life is so fast. There's so much technology. There's so many distractions, and to be able to kind of put yourself away and your needs and listen. I think he's probably a really good listener and listen to what people desired and wanted. So that's incredible. And I'm sure. And I asked the question because sometimes kids turn out completely different from the way their parents are, the way that they're raised, or they look at life in a different way. So I was interested to kind of know that. I think this question you've answered. I think you've described Armon beautifully. What does Spark Hope mean?
Yeah, so Spark Hope. So Armon's name means hope in Hindi. So God, like how would that ever, how fitting that is for our son who gives us so much hope every day still. And so Spark Hope is really all about this idea of anyone can ignite like possibility or, a positive future, or empower someone, like inspire someone. And it just takes one person. And that spark for us that started this whole thing 6 years ago was Armon. He was like that spark plug, because he was really just, on fire. I mean, he could slow down and go super slow if he was one-on-one, but he was fast. he was super fast, and he was a spark plug. I mean, he could just do incredible things very quickly. And that spark ignited all of this. And from there, we've helped thousands of students with like resources and education and just technology. And I think that's what it's all about. It's that anyone can kind of spark something beautiful, something positive. It started with Armon, and our hope is that like all these little sparks create like real change. You know, they really lead to something powerful and a real force for, you know, what the world needs right now, like to be a brighter, more beautiful place.
So in 10, 15, 20, 30 years, when you look back on the work of the foundation, what do you hope to see? What do you hope the story is?
Yeah. You know, when we started this, we understood the digital divide. Everyone knows there's a digital divide. Then COVID hit. And that was a kind of a call to action for us, because we really started to understand when we were in communities, and we were in New York, and we were in Newark, and we were in Trenton, that when everything got shut down, it was such a real issue where students didn't have any access to continue even with learning.
Yeah, just with education.
And I think when we threw ourselves into action and really got hands-on with projects, we were learning at the same time. And so for us, we're at a point where it's always been like one student at a time. We want to make it. It started with Armon, you know, he's one young man that sparked hope, you know, created the spark, and now, you know, we want to be able to create change one student at a time. But if you ask me 20 years from now, what I hope to see is that we've really been like a catalyst for change in a community like Newark. That we're not just talking about the digital divide, that we're really like, you know, bridging that digital divide. Like the STEM achievement gap is, you know, improves or lessens, is bridged because we exist. And we're ready to do that. You know, I think we have like the heart, and we have like the motivation and the talent and the people to be able to do that. And then we have the partners like yourself that have that same equal like desire and dedication. So, you know, I love that we can do that. And there's going to be like thousands of students like Armon that say their dreams came true because of him.
Right.
It's because of this one student, you know, one young man. So that's really where I'd like to see this go, without losing the one student at a time idea, because it's all about heart and like, you know, connection.
Really trying to be connected to each individual.
Really trying to be connected,
and not kind of have them be a number on a piece of paper. I think that's super important.
It is. That's why we love, you know, we have, when we started 6 years ago, we have to work through partners that are connected, that serve the community, to make our work practical, because we're volunteers. So we've been trying to figure out how we do that. And we're really proud that we have, you know, 5 to 6 partners here in Newark. And we love we love our partnership, and we love that it's kind of become a family. Yeah. Because your mission is to serve the youth in the same way, and through you we can do what we can do. We can help. Yeah.
So if you weren't doing this, I guess, what do you imagine you would be doing today? Or can you even imagine something else at this point?
No, I'm totally where I need to be. Yeah. Totally where I need to be. You know, I was before Armon passed away, I was working for Johnson & Johnson. It was a 23-year corporate career. I did a lot of different things at J&J, and I imagined I was going to retire there and get my benefits and that whole thing. Yeah. And then they say that life's what happens when you're making other plans.
That's right.
And that's totally what's happened to us. Like our plan was, and Priya worked for the federal government for 23 years. Homeland Security. So we were both on this track of let's get to retirement and then sail off into the sunset. You know, we'll be close with our family and our kids. But when we lost him, you kind of go through a whole, and like, you know, and we're very deeply spiritual. So it really wakes you up, you know, in terms of what really matters in life. And so we both decided to leave our careers and follow our hearts. And for us, we stayed connected with the love that Armon and Rihanna and our family give us every day. And that's led us on this journey. And while I don't like how I got here, because I would want Armon in my, you know, I miss him. Yeah. I love what I do. I was working a corporate job. I love J&J and the people there, but this is amazing to be doing this.
It's like love and work at the same time.
Yeah.
And I tell people
it's a work of heart.
Right.
Yeah, it's a work of heart. Totally.
I love Boys and Girls Club because I grew up here.
Yeah,
Remember, I'm from Newark. It was around the corner from where I grew up. And I couldn't imagine doing this kind of work anywhere else, even though there are tons of Boys and Girls Clubs across the country.
Yeah.
We've been partners now for a couple of years. What drew you to Boys and Girls Club? Because you shared a lot, and you've answered a lot of my questions already, but what drew you to the Boys and Girls Club of Newark?
Yeah, so many things. Because I mentioned we've worked with many partners, and you guys are our like most cherished partner. You are, and I can share why that is. But I mean, I think what you've done is, you've created this place where students, it's a safe place where students come, and you're here to really empower them to reach, to help them understand the possibility and reach, and have a better future, to like achieve their dreams. And you give them all of the services and the support and everything else, like all the comforts and all of that that's needed to be that. And it's very much aligned with our mission. So like from a mission perspective, like the commitment you have to kids, we love it. We really see it's real. It's real. Like in everyone we've met, it's real. And we deeply believe in education. That's going to be the game changer when we talk about like breaking the cycle and empowering these kids to thrive and be successful and be leaders in the digital world. And I think you guys have that commitment that we've never seen that, like what you've done with the STEAM space and the STEAM education program, and working with you and Rebecca, and just how you open your doors to us, because we're small. We're not, we're not a big company. We're not going to give you millions of dollars, but you've opened your doors to kind of think about how you co-create solutions with us, and we love that. And I think like we've immediately felt like it's family. The way that we threw the STEM party and everyone we interact with. I mean, and I don't remember the woman that was, I'm sorry for that, who's working the front desk that day, but I spoke to her probably for like a half an hour about just so many amazing topics. But we really feel like it's just such a beautiful club that's like more like a family or a village for these kids.
Yeah. And that's how it always has been. I mean, I always talk about my time here as a club member, and I mean, I was probably here as much as I was at home. You spend so much time in school, and then I came here. I slept over here, when I was a kid, and it's just, lifelong relationships that I've built. And, I think one of the things we've tried to do was have people think about other people, right? Like the person at the front desk, the receptionist, like I always remember hearing the story how, somebody walked into a building and like that person made them feel like they were the only person in the world that they were serving. And I think that's what we try our best to do every day. And we're not perfect at every interaction, because life is hard and people are people. But I'm so happy to hear you say that. So my next question is, what do you imagine us accomplishing together?
I think at the end of the day, we're already like doing so much together. It's like more of the same, I guess.
So nothing wrong with more of the same. Let's be clear.
I guess. I don't know the right answer, but I feel like, especially now more than ever, we understand the challenges. I mean, and this is a space we've really studied and researched and understand in terms of like the gaps with STEM education,
100%.
Especially in communities like Newark, where there isn't good access to free and affordable 21st century education, in school and out of school. And so I kind of think like working together, which we've been able to do, like we're going to be able to really reach and help so many students together and do more of this. So, I look back at like where we started with, let's launch this STEM party. We have a couple hundred kids coming in and getting exposed and getting excited about STEM and technology. And then, we said, maybe we can help with getting this robotics program off the ground, first robotics club for kids at the Boys and Girls Club. And then, we launched this ID Tech Scholarship. So we send 18 students to Princeton University overnight. And with Rebecca, we're able to get some students from here to go every summer, which has been amazing. So I love the journey we're on, and I see more of that journey for us. And one student at a time, helping as many students achieve their dreams through education.
I love that. Because, we had a big conversation at a conference I went to about how education is changing, and there's like the AI stuff that's coming, and whether books should be read or not. And, thinking about the work you're doing, what is one thing you would love to share with young people about the importance of technology, but also about the power of technology and how it can be so transformational for people?
Yeah. So, I could throw a lot of stats out, but they're saying like 70% of jobs today require digital skills, right? And I think, for students, it's not just having a phone. I think a lot of students have phones, but they don't know then how to create or innovate or code using that phone. And I think when we think about the future, it's going to be so much about that.
Yes.
Right. I mean, job growth is hitting about 30% in the next 20 years in computer science, and income levels and income. So I feel like it's so important that we provide, that foundational education, but then the education to build real capabilities and competencies and excitement about, innovating in the space. Because I think it's like the people that can innovate and create that change that are going to lead the future, be like 100%. The leaders.
Yes.
So I think any student in this club has the capability, probably more so, to be a leader, because they've seen the gaps and they've been through the challenges. So I just want students to understand that tech doesn't mean I'm going to sit behind the desk and do software programming.
Right.
It's basically everywhere. It's everywhere. It's in every field. It's in retail. It's in creative, right?
In medical.
It's in advertising, marketing. It's in medical.
Mental health and all this stuff.
I think it's just try it and try it again if you don't like it, and try it again, because there's something that's gonna catch your interest, and that is the future. That's totally the future.
I could tell you right now, one of the things I desire is for kids to understand, you talk about the phone in your hand, you're the end user of something.
Correct.
Somebody else created. It's there's a whole system and network behind what you're doing. It's why don't you learn that while also understanding the other side? Because I think, we're sitting here in front of technology and cameras and all these different things and the microphones, but there's somebody who thought how to put these things together. So I guess my last question is there anything you'd like to share with young people that would be of benefit to them as we kind of close our talk here today?
Yes. Well, I probably want to leave with a few things, I guess, that I didn't get to share. But one, I alluded to the fact that I shared that one of my heroes is Jane Goodall. And I think that a lot of the reason that she's one of my heroes is because she's also been through so much in life, and we've all got challenges. I'm sure the students and the kids that come to this club have all sorts of stuff they deal with, and I think there's always ways to handle challenges. You can get angry, or you can be scared, or you can lash out, and I just think I can always share my personal experience is when I was at my life's worst, the day we lost Armon, and I thought life was over for me. What lifted me up? What gave me hope? How did I get to the next day? And it's always love. It's always kindness. It's always compassion. That is why I'm sitting here with you today. It's what has brought us to this place where we have this foundation with hundreds of volunteers that are doing this work. And I'm on this personal mission to make sure people know that strength, which I think I'm a really strong person, comes from love and nothing else. Not fear and anger and all of these other things that are going on around us sometimes. And I just feel like it's an important message to share, that it's real. It's not this it's not false optimism or just being naive. Love will save the day. It saved me. Right. It really did.
No, I mean,
it saved me. So I feel hang on to that.
Gone,
I know.
In that moment.
There's 100 places you
I
can
have
go.
kids now, who are 3 and 2 years old, and I can't even think about what my life would be without them. And I could imagine that at some point in time when you had Armon, you never thought that you'd be burying him. And
I know.
We've watched tons of action films and sci-fi and everything, and probably all types of different movies where that's the worst feeling probably that a parent could ever experience.
You watch it on TV and you think it's something else, and then you never think it's going to happen to you. I always say it shouldn't really be a human experience. That's how bad it is. it's like, why did we get this human experience? I've been through a lot of stuff. You know, people go through a lot of terrible stuff, but it's a terrible human experience. But then you have to realize it's for a reason. And how am I surviving? It's purely just the compassion and love of others that lift us up. And that's what we need in this world. And I just wanted to also, I do need to shout out, because while I'm here like talking about the foundation, there's hundreds of people behind, like obviously you and all your amazing team and all our partners, but we have hundreds of volunteers, including like our board, which is really an extended family now. It includes community leaders, like Justin joined our board this year. We're really proud of that. So we actually have leaders in Newark that are on our board, but it is a family, and they dedicate like their time and their talent and like their full heart, asking nothing in return. And it's part of that whole theme of sparking hope. So I just wanted to share. I want to shout out and say thank you to all of everybody that makes all of this happen, because it does take a lot.
Yeah. So I had another question that I think I can ask you.
Yeah.
What do you feel like today that your greatest accomplishment with the foundation has been?
We've had a lot of accomplishments. I'm gonna just rattle off a few, but then I'm gonna tell you like what I'm most proud of. So we're a small, I would call it grassroots foundation, but we're going into year 6, and we'll have donated over $750,000 directly. It's a big number, I think, to community. By the end of the year, we'll have directly donated all of that to setting up tech centers, scholarships, tons of devices, lots of educational programming. So we have 12 after-school programs running right now throughout Newark and different places. Lots of career training programs. So I'm really proud of the fact that we've done so much in so little time as a team. But I'm really most proud of the fact that we have kids on this mission helping kids. Because I think when you think about like the future, they're invested.
Yes. So
we have this awesome youth squad of about 20 kids. A lot of them are high school, and they give back, and they are completely, call them the youth squad, and they basically help us organize different events. So they're the ones that hosted the STEM party in March. From soup to nuts, they put the entire thing together. I sit back and they run the show and they host it, and they hosted it beautifully. They help us with our fundraising events. We have a 5K. They run a lot of that. We just ran a ton of workshops in March with a few different schools in Newark, 17th Street School, Hawkins School, and a couple others. And they ran a CAD, computer aided design workshops, and a bunch of other things. So for me, like, these are young people, just like Arman, who are kind of, inspired by him to share their love of technology and all of that opportunity with other kids. And I'm really proud of that. Like that could make me cry. I'm like really proud of these kids.
You got the tissue here.
I know. Like that could make me cry.
There's no shame here in crying.
I adore them. I really do. I mean, really proud of that.
So, what is that the greatest accomplishment?
I would say that's probably at the top of the list. Yeah, having these kids like join our mission and become change makers.
It's nothing like having a kid be empowered and feel empowered to do something.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would applaud you for setting up that platform, because I think one of the coolest things is like, when we watch our kids do something they can't think that they could do or that they've never done, and like really see them. And one of the coolest things for me recently was we hold these luncheons for advocacy, and they're doing mass incarceration as a topic. And it's the same group of kids from almost 4 years ago now. And it's night and day between the first time they did the presentation and this time. I mean, first time it's like they're reading off the PowerPoint, they're like halfway looking at the people and halfway looking the other way. This time they're loud, they got everybody up, they're walking around, they've got microphones, they're interviewing, they've got the whole thing laid out.
Yeah.
And just to see that evolution of that confidence and leadership is just incredible. So I hats off to you and your family and friends and all the work that you've been able to do. And I think you're living Armon's spirit, because he just sounds like such a remarkable young man. And I know that it was a pleasure for 15 years. And I think, to continue to work in his name is just a noble pursuit. I thank you guys for the partnership. I thank you for coming. And I would hope we can continue this for forever. because I think technology is going to be the massive change. STEM, mathematics, all this stuff, science is just going to make things so much different in the future. It's happening now.
Yeah.
Our entire infrastructure is probably going to be different in the next 30 years.
Absolutely.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll say this to everyone. I think one of the most telling things that you said was love, right? And it is, right, something we hear all the time, and people don't always put a lot of stock into it. But when you do things out of love and compassion and care for others, it always feels great. My most pleasurable experiences here as a staff member is watching young people become adults and be successful in their life and their career. And so I know that your son would have been a very successful young man, and his foundation, named after him, is his living work. And I know that he's thanking you from above for continuing to let his name live on. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ameer. I was sharing with you, it's my first podcast.
That's right.
And sometimes when in the last 6 years, we have arrived moment. Something happens and we've arrived. So to me, this is kind of a we have arrived to be interviewed. I know you've interviewed some notable people on this podcast, and you mentioned, you've got a few before us. And I'm really honored by that. I hope you guys know I'm really honored, and we're all honored that you've chosen our foundation as the first partner to sit with you and talk about our foundation and share some of this. And it's definitely a we have arrived moment. So thank you very much for everything you guys do.
It is our pleasure.
Very meaningful and very special to us.
Because you bring up something that's important, and everybody thinks about the big partners and the massive corporations, and there are tons of people, reaching out to them. But we live by every partner, and the work that you've done, right? Some people just write a check, and that's great. The money is important, but you guys come down, spend time, and it's nothing better than actually being able to feel and touch people who are changing their lives, and actually being able to see and meet the kids whose lives you're helping to change. So it's nothing better than that kind of partnership in my mind. The dollars are great, but it's the relationship that's so important to us. So we couldn't be happier, and we look forward to next year. I got to the first one. I missed this year, but I'll make sure that I'm
bring
at
the kid. Yeah, you can bring your daughter next time. She's a cutie pie.
Sure. She's
we tried to take her home with us.
She's in her trouble two-faced.
Okay.
So it's like what did I say? Hot nacho cheese Doritos, and then the regular ones that taste much better and don't burn you. She was gone. So.
She's a firecracker.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hope you guys enjoy. We will be back again with another exciting episode of the Great Futures Forge. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share this with everybody. Share about the Armon Roy Foundation. It was an incredible young man who unfortunately left us too soon. But please go on their website, learn about their organization. It'll be in the description below. And we look forward to sharing more exciting news from our STEM Center with you. Have a great day.